Hey there, my name is John Armstrong, and I'm going to take you through a quick overview of Nintex and Nintex Automation Cloud. So, if you're not familiar with Nintex, we're a process improvement and automation company. So, we have a full stack of products ranging from process discovery, mapping, automation, and optimization. So, throughout all this, there's a number of different applications that we have, but today we're only going to be focusing on Nintex and workflows and forms here. So with that being said, let's just jump right into it. So this is the Nintex workflow cloud. In this case, it's a kind of a blank canvas, the workflow design canvas. Workflow as a whole, kind of a concept, is just sitting behind the scenes, kind of orchestrating an overall process, pushing and pulling data, looping people in, um, generating documents, getting e-signatures, kind of just tying different applications together while it's pulling the strings behind the scenes to automate a process from beginning to end. Now, building these processes out is in Nintex Automation Cloud is very straightforward. It's all going to be drag and drop centric. We really lean into the no code and low code approach. So, for example, if I wanted to build out a form to gather information from a user, that can be used to kick off a workflow. All I have to do is bring the controls over from this left hand side here, drag them over onto this forms design canvas, and drop them where I want them to be dropped. These forms are going to be completely responsive as well, so you're only having to worry about designing one layout, and then from there, whatever device the form is accessed from, it will adjust that layout accordingly. Now, configuring these controls is all text boxes and drop downs, so it's very straightforward. Again, leaning into that no code approach here with all of this configuration and setup. Behind the scenes here on these forms, we've got a pretty robust rules engine. So if you need to dynamically control the behavior of the forms, you're going to be able to do that. So let's say if you want to show or hide fields under certain conditions, set the values, make something read-only or not, required or not. Basically, every individual property of each field can be controlled with these rules in order to make really slick, dynamic, easy-to-use forms for your end users. We can also tap into external data. So let's say you have some data stored in a SharePoint list that you want to surface up into a form for a user to pick from in a dropdown. We can do something like that. Using that choice from the dropdown to pre-populate other fields on that form can be done as well. So really being able to create these very easy to use forms that are going to be incredibly dynamic and being built in a very simple, easy way and quick. From there, building out the workflow kind of follows the same philosophy, right? So if I wanted to send an email, just drag that action over. If I wanted to interact with a different application, Nintex Automation Cloud comes with about 130 pre-built connectors out of the box. We also open it up for our customers to build out their own custom connectors as well at no additional cost. So provided that the application you want to interact with has a REST API, that custom connector can be built out. And from the workflow designer's perspective, that connector is just going to show up in the list like any other connector would. So we have a lot of the popular stuff out of the box: Microsoft Stack, Google Suite, SharePoint, Salesforce, Zendesk, ServiceNow, Jira, HubSpot. A lot of the big names already included, so chances are good that you won't even need to worry about dealing with those custom connectors. So with that high level overview out of the way, I've got a quick example workflow that I'm going to run through for you. So in this case, I'm going to fill out a form. I'm wanting to gather some emergency contact information from a few select individuals. So in this case, I'm going to fill out this form to make this request. For the sake of the demo, I'm just going to send it to myself. I click submit that form. From the end user's perspective, the person filling out that form, they just fill it out, they click that submit button, and from there the workflow is going to kick off and initiate the process. So they don't need to worry about necessarily designing the form. They don't even necessarily know about Nintex or that there's workflow behind the scenes. All they really need to know and worry about is filling the form out to get done what they need to get done. Now from there, the user that was sent the request, or that the request was sent to, is going to receive an email asking for some additional details about their emergency contact. They can also access their My Nintex dashboard. Now this is going to be a one-stop shop for your users to be able to log in and see everything that they have going on with Nintex, including their tasks that they have assigned. So in this case, I have a task that's been assigned. I'm going to fill this out, add my emergency contact. I'll just, not feeling super creative right now, so let's just do that, right? Data information has been provided. I'll click that submit button. And again, as that user filling that task out, that's all they have to worry about, and the workflow is going to handle the rest. The rest, in this case, being some document generations. So we've got a document template here with some placeholders. These placeholders are all going to be provided by the workflow designer in the Nintex document tagger tool. So you don't have to worry about memorizing the context or anything like that. But from there, the workflow will pull that template in and replace all of those placeholders with values that came from the workflow, whether they're from the initial form, the task form, or any other applications. It really just boils down to if the workflow can get to the data, it can be taken and put into a document. And as you can see from there, the document was generated, stored it into SharePoint, and in this case, that's the end of my workflow. But really the possibilities are endless, right? So you could take that document, send it out for e-signature, you could store it into another application, you can email it to someone. You don't even necessarily need to generate a document, right? You can just take the data points that were provided and push it into another application. Really, lots of different options there with the 130 plus different applications that we can connect out to. All right, thanks for your time. Appreciate you watching. Take care.